I'm gonna watch what you sent, Mateus, after we watch the other deep dive or whatever that actually might be better. It's called We Played the First 5 Hours of Silent Hill 2 Remake, and we're pleasantly but cautiously surprised. What do you mean by cautious? Are they gonna
To the
piss me off
belter
too? Shut the. I'm sorry. Let me stop projecting. This is by who is this? Who is this? This is by Games Radar. Don't let me down. IGN sucks. Let's react to this.
I played the first 5 hours of the Silent Hill 2 remake and was pleasantly, if not cautiously, surprised. It's clear that the Silent Hill 2 remake proudly holds tight to
We'll
what
let
the
her cook.
production
Let her
teams
cook.
identified as its core tenets, from its tension and atmosphere to the belter of a reworked soundtrack. But the time I spent with the game would also go on to unveil a curious sense of hesitancy, constantly pulling it back from being either a totally faithful remake or a brave reimagining entirely. There were plenty of bright spots throughout my hands-on experience, including the game's dynamic third-person movement, refined combat, and expanded exploration zones. So much so that, even with my concerns at this point in its development, I'm hopeful that Silent Hill 2 Remake may yet make a lasting impression upon modern-day survival horror audiences,
That's what we
even
want.
if the creative teams sound apologetic for its very existence at times. Before I started playing, producer Motoi Okamoto walked us through the game's 9 key new features. There's a thick and realistic blanket of fog enveloping Silent Hill thanks to the game's 4K graphics, including faithful recreations of key locations, down to minuscule items, and facial mocap to make the cutscenes as emotional as possible. On the technical side, he also mentions 3D sound design to heighten immersion, an over-the-shoulder third-person camera perspective, reworked combat featuring a dodge mechanic and aiming reticle, remapping of existing enemies, new and expanded areas and puzzles, and the inclusion of all the original endings. There will even be some brand new
Shit. Oh
Silent
shit. Yo, thankfully, I knew they were gonna do it, but thank you for confirming it. Unlike the IGN dude, thank you for confirming it. Like the IGN dude should have.
and the inclusion of all the original endings. There will even be some brand new Silent Hill 2 endings that can, in the words of developer Bloober Team, only be accessed in New Game Plus, though the studio shies away from revealing more.
See, Lusty, are you still there? See, this is what I mean by fuck IGN, and I know you agree, but I'm just being dramatic. Brand new endings that can only be accessed in New Game Plus. This is what I'm talking about. Why didn't the other guy mention that? That is prime information to mention. That's amazing.
Picks up at exactly the same place as the 2001 original, with protagonist James Sunderland
That's
arriving
really
at
cool.
the small deserted town after receiving
Dead
a
ass, bro.
mysterious
New Game
summons from
Plus?
his supposedly deceased wife. It's charged
I'm gonna
with
play
as
the
much
fuck out of this
creeping
game.
dread as ever. Creative director Mateusz Leinart explained that the team discussed making the iconic introduction more
He's a
action
terrible
heavy,
journalist.
but admitted it did not feel like it was very Silent Hill, and this is why we made the choice to keep it as it was and only pick up the pace after some time.
Thank
But
you.
after taking my first few steps into the mist, I found myself needing to swap over to performance mode in order to achieve a smooth 60 frames per second. It's
And that's
a little
fine.
troubling so close to release, especially with quality mode not seeming to boost fidelity much at all, though it's possible this is an older build of the game.
It probably
But
is an
even
older build.
instances of texture dropout while staring into the recesses of Westvale's many overfilled dumpsters wasn't
Yeah, they
enough to
will.
ruin my day. That's because the opening scenes excel at nailing the atmosphere of Silent Hill as a location.
As long as it's like not on the levels of a Dragon's Dogma 2, it'll be fine. I fully believe it. I play in performance mode anyway. Matter of fact, I might end up buying a 4K monitor to play it on since I'm gonna get it on my PS5. I might get it because I want to experience in 4K with OLED if I can. So I might fuck around and do that because it's gonna be fucking
Turning it
great.
into an expansive, malevolent entity in itself. It might be more modern than fixed camera angles, but the third-person perspective does nothing to distract from how disorienting it feels not to be able to see more than a foot in front of you. Likewise, don't bother to memorize any of the puzzles and key item locations from the original game. You'll find many of them have been remapped entirely in the remake. Feeling so lost in a world I thought I knew pretty damn well is an appropriately jarring sensation,
Thank you.
demonstrating Bloober's understanding of how to create uncanny
I'm so proud to have this
familiarity
damn
that
pyramid
keeps
on my
you
arm,
your
bro.
toes. It's something that instantly drew me into Capcom's Resident Evil 2 remake back in 2019, and I'm relieved to see flashes of brave mechanical innovation in Silent Hill 2 remake as well. The addition of a single new puzzle while I was exploring Westvale, involving a broken record, is an example of this, proving formative in altering my path through the town as I was led on a wayward treasure hunt. Repairing the record and listening to the music triggered a memory. And where did it lead me? The next main area was
Listen. Look, Games Radar, you are officially better than IGN. You got better journalists. Congratulations.
Woodside Apartments. I found it a simple yet effective change to how James made his way there in the original, but purists may find the tweak too extreme.
Wait, what did you say?
A simple yet effective change to how James made his way there in the original, but purists may find the tweak too extreme.
I don't think
Hardwood
we will.
plank in hand, I took on the iconic lying figure enemies with relentless aggression. I know I didn't need to kill them all, and in some Silent Hill games you'd be wise not to, but the satisfying thwack of wood against the meaty carcass is worth every moment of overkill. The precision element is certainly refreshing in Silent Hill 2 Remake, trading the unwieldy clunk of the original's fixed camera angles for a more targeted approach that allowed me to off far more monsters than I would playing the original.
And she got better aim than the other dude playing.
The more the puzzles and combat stood out to me as the biggest mechanical strengths of Silent Hill 2 Remake.
She can't dodge as good,
Even
though.
if creative director Masahiro Ito insists that the game is not heavily oriented toward combat. The former is something Leynar is especially proud of himself. I think we have been able to capture this smooth balance between the memory of the original game and new content that can, I think, surprise the longtime fans of the series, he says of the puzzle and level design reworks. As a fan of third-person shooters and the way survival horror games have implemented them in recent years, Alan Wake 2, I'm looking at you, I'm not mad about it. It just gives James more ways to fight, and makes me feel more confident in doing so should I be unable to sneak past a foe. But with games like Silent Hill 2, even the smallest of changes are bound to surprise its dedicated fans one way or another. At the very beginning, we didn't want to change anything completely, because we were too afraid of touching the game, lead producer Maciej Głom admits, acknowledging the risks of remaking such a cult classic video game. But after time, we saw that we needed to expand on the game in a way that would be competitive at this generation of consoles. These alterations might not be for everyone, but I found them refreshing. By the time I broke into the Blue Creek apartments, just over 3 hours into the preview session, I noted how well the expanded zones help establish the world of Silent Hill for new and returning players
and
alike.
I'm happy about that
But
already.
There was one
Already,
more
I'm happy
surprise
about
in
that.
store for me in the form of a nasty new enemy variant. Despite Ito-san claiming there were absolutely no brand new monsters in the game.
Shit.
I aimed my flashlight-mounted handgun as I navigated the detritus of the nightmare apartment block. Relief flooded my body to see the coast somewhat clear. It was a brief respite because I soon came face to face with the spider mannequins, or as I like to call them, the bane of my absolute stinking life. I mean that with lots of love. The monsters scurried across the floor, dodging my painstakingly timed shots with
They said, I'm glad. Yeah, but new variant. But technically, is that new or is that just a variant? New variant. Interesting. I'm fine. Look, as long as it remains and it still has a purpose and it has a meaning to everything that's in the game, I'm fine with it. But yeah. Okay.
unfair levels of grace that James can only dream of in his drab khaki raincoat. Mannequins gave me the biggest jump scares of the day. Every time I entered a room, only to have one suddenly move in the corner, I was thrown into a fear-fueled frenzy and battered it to death with my melee weapon.
If this goes
hissing
well,
the
bro, they will
vilest
probably make a
profanity known to the English
a Silent Hill
language.
2
Even
3
this rage
remake.
was born of love.
If I can speak.
For all of Silent Hill 2 Remake's reworks to the form, flow, and style of the original, it more than succeeds at delivering a compulsive survival horror experience. Modern flourishes bring it in line with today's genre standards, falling just shy of making any truly huge moves to break with its core conventions, while showing new sides to a beloved franchise that's finally emerging from dormancy. Having a closer look at what Bloober Team is aiming for on October 8th, I'm more than ready to give Silent Hill 2 Remake the chance it deserves when it comes to PC and PS5. Will you be playing Silent Hill 2 Remake? Are
Hell
you ready for
yes.
the new changes? Let us know in the comments and stick with Games Radar for the latest news, previews, and more.
Wonderful. You know what? I respect you so much. Thank you, Game Radar. That's what I was looking forward to. I should have watched them anyway, because that's what I wanted. I have the vinyl. This is the vinyl I bought for Silent Hill 2. So like I'm just addicted to this soundtrack.